Peace, y'all. Welcome back to Community College with Dr. G. Um, how y'all feeling out there? I hope good. I'm feeling pretty good. Energy is a little bit low because I started this new workout routine thing this week. And my body's tired, my body's sore, my body's weary. But it's okay. My brain still works. So here we are today talking about growth, personal growth, and what it takes for us to grow mentally, improving our mindsets, grow spiritually, grow physically, whatever ways we want to grow. Growth always happens in the stretch or in the challenge. And I wrote about this in my Substack newsletter, and I would link it down in the box below. But I wrote about this last month in September, but I want to elaborate a little bit more. This is what happens when I think of something. I'm like, ooh, and then I put something out there, and then later on it's like, oh, that goes even deeper. Wait a minute. I'll be a little impulsive with publishing stuff, but it's okay. I can talk about it here now and go a little bit further in depth on the topic, right? Little anecdotes, little examples, little TMI for y'all. All right. So growth happens in a stretch. This woke me up one morning at like 3:30 and had me at 1:30, and had me writing for a couple of hours. Not just about this, but many other things. I get downloads in my sleep, and they wake me up sometimes with very, very clear statements or instructions, and I'm like, all right, so this is what I need to do. So that's how this newsletter publication came about last month. But as I keep thinking about it, there's new things that pop up for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I talked about in the newsletter, expound upon it again a little bit more, and then I'm going to add something to it that's come to me today, honestly. I was sitting down to record something else, and then this came to my mind, and I was like, you know what? This feels better. That one felt too teachy, and I'm not really feeling in a teachy mood today. So here we go. When I was doing my studies at Howard, my focus for my research to graduate was mindset, cognitive processes, and this idea of, y'all know I'll be sweating out here in the heat, this idea of growth mindset, right? It's a very popular subject. There's books on it. Carol Dweck is the woman that popularized this idea of a growth mindset versus like a stagnant or stale mindset. And the premise behind this is that what we believe about ourselves and our abilities to accomplish our goals and do new things, do difficult things, what we believe about that for ourselves is exactly what we are capable of doing in the world. So that I say this to say, okay, an example, we talk about intelligence. Intelligence was the particular variable that I was looking at. Like, what is your mindset when it comes to your idea about intelligence? And do you have a growth mindset when it comes to this idea about intelligence? And we can talk about intelligence as just intellect, or this could be about creativity. It could be about nature. There's multiple ways to look at intelligence. If you want to learn more about that, a simple Google search will show you, I think, about 8 different types of intelligence that are discussed out there. But it includes like people's capacity for movement, people's capacity for music, even empathy is considered a level of intelligence, right? So whatever we believe about our intelligence is what we kind of live, right? I talk often about how we think creates our realities, right? So this is what the growth mindset is around. And a growth mindset says that while there may be things that are difficult for me to do, there's nothing that's necessarily impossible for me to do, right? So as long as I stay consistent, I stay persistent, and I continue to try even in the face of failure, I know that I can achieve my goals, right? If we look at this as intelligence, it's like, I may not be very good in math, but if I study hard enough, if I stay persistent, if I stay consistent with my efforts, And even when I fail, I keep trying, I keep learning. I know that I can get better at math, right? Intelligence, growth mindset. A fixed mindset, stagnant, stale, old, crusty, dusty mindset, no shade, says that I am born with this level of ability and that's all that I can do. And even though there are people around me that can do things that are at a higher level, better than, greater than, whatever I can, that's because they were born with the ability to do that and I was not. So this is where I'm at, that's where they're at, that's that. Fixed, it's done, it's a done deal. But research has shown that that is not, it don't work that way, right? Okay. So the growth here, the growth mindset here, the growth happens when we stretch ourselves beyond our current capabilities, right? When we stretch ourselves beyond our current capabilities. I am not very good in math, and these multiplication tables are kicking my ass. I don't get it. But if I keep trying, if I keep the effort going, if I continue to practice, if I'm persistent in my efforts, persistent effort. If I'm persistent in my efforts, I'm going to get this. And I killed the timetables once I got it, y'all. Killed them. What's something that is more realistic to an adult in this situation? I want a career change, and I'm sick of standing on my feet, working in this hospital. These people that are mean, this fast-paced environment, whatever it is that I'm doing, I don't want to do this anymore. I need a career change. And what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of people that are going into IT without having to go back to school to get a degree, but doing certain certifications, learning how to code, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're working from home and they're making six figures. I'm a bright person. I already have a degree. I've already done all the things. But like, this is something that I can pursue. I don't even really know beyond Control Alt Delete how to do anything on a computer to fix it or to manage something, but I'm going to learn. So I go and I sign up for a certification course. I get a coach or someone to teach me how to do this, show me how to do this, right? I take a class, I learn, I practice. I finish the class and I go take the test and I failed it the first time. I didn't do terribly, but I didn't pass it. Okay. This is something that is brand new to me, right? So I can quit and be like, you know what, I took the course already. I'm gonna just apply for the job. I don't even need the certification. I'm not even gonna do that shit. Like, forget it. You only halfway stretched. You didn't commit. You ain't go all the way with it, right? You didn't. The growth mindset is like, all right, well, shit, I just started this a couple months ago. It's okay that I didn't pass on the first try. I can take it again. I can do it again. And so you do. You give yourself a little bit more time. You study a little bit more. You're persistent in your efforts. And you get the certification. Boom. Now, instead of applying for jobs that are paying you 60, 70,000, because you have the certification, you're now applying for jobs that are at 110, 125,000, right? Because you stuck in there, right? And the part that I want to add that I left out of the newsletter that hit me today is that you have to give yourself the opportunities to stretch. You have to give yourself the opportunities to stretch. Okay. Because if you want to grow, you can't keep doing the same things. If you want to improve, you can't keep yourself in the same places, right? And oftentimes we give ourselves like partial permission to really try something, but then we quit before we get to the end goal because it's easier for us to be like, well, I ain't even really see it all the way through, so I don't have this idea that I'm failing or that I failed. Cause like for real, I didn't even, we ain't even. You're not giving yourself that last opportunity to stretch, to grow into who you really want to be, or to do what you really want to do, because you quitting too early. Stop that shit. Come on, man. I see it in my clients, y'all. I see it in the real world. I see it in my friends. I see it in myself. Part of this growth happening in the stretch is that we have to give ourselves the opportunity to stretch. Okay. So, I gave y'all the examples already. But I didn't, okay. So what? So what? Growth happens in the stretch. Yay. So what? So what is that we ain't never been in no times like this before. And I talk about this all the time because I need y'all to understand that what I'm saying is true. We are in evolutionary times. We have not seen no shit like this before. And if there's anything that we can gauge from the changes that have happened over the last 20 years, 20 something years. I mean, my adult life so far, it ain't never been like this before. I saw a post that said if you were born between 1980 and 1989, you've experienced 2 millennia, a millennia change, a century change, just a bunch of shit, y'all. This terrorist attack thing, this pandemic thing, the racial violence thing, the misogyny and capitalism that's ruining the world. Like literally the globe is revolting right now. If you guys pay attention to politics, you see that there's all these coups and pushing the French and the other European countries out of these African countries and really, really taking their independence, not just wearing the name of independence, but actually taking their independence back. We are in evolutionary times. It's time for shit to change. We have to do something different to be able to sustain our lives. And maybe that's the premise of all of what I'm talking about, because I talk about it in every video, but like that shit is real. And you have to give yourself the opportunity to see where your life can go, because where it may be now may not be sustainable for the future. And when I say that, I talk about your career. For many of you, it's like that job is wearing you the fuck down. And I've given the story before, but we all know people who worked hard as shit their whole life, that 20 years, that 30 years, I'm gonna collect my pension and retire. And when they retire, they can't even enjoy life because their body don't work no more. Or shortly after leaving the job, their body can't adjust to not having high levels of stress, and then something happens and they're gone. We are not meant to wait for the reward of happiness, peace, joy, and like a loving, thriving friggin' life until we're dead. No. We didn't get the gift of life and the gift of choice and the gift of creativity and brains and hearts and love and all of that shit for us to be working for somebody until we work ourselves into the ground just to sit back and not work while our bones are fucked up. We spending most of our time going to doctor's appointments instead of to the beach or to our family's house or just hanging out. Like, come on, no. So you got to give yourself an opportunity to grow. And I'm pretty sure all of you have had an idea or an inkling that's come to you at some particular point in time that says that you should be moving in this direction, but maybe you're just a little too afraid. Maybe your mindset around that particular thing is fixed. All right? And it's telling you, no, that's not me. But who the fuck said it wasn't? Because if it came to you, it must be you. No? Growth happens in the stretch. If you want something to be different, if you want to do something different, if you want change, if you want transition, if you want to transform, if you want to be a totally different person, if you want to just be you, you have to give yourself the opportunity to grow. And I'm not saying a couple of things. I'm not saying it's easy, okay? Because our old patterns and our ways of being and our conditioning for the decades that we've been alive is deep. It's deep. It's strong. And it's going to hold on, because the issue that we've been having lately is that for a lot of us, we cannot see what our actions today are going to produce in the future, right? Because we're doing something different. So there's no blueprint, right? Because the blueprint that many of us were following, we followed that thing to a T, but that end result, when we got to the finish line, to the end goal, when it was like, yay, hooray, it wasn't what they promised us. We didn't get what we were supposed to get. And the challenge for us in this space is to go without a blueprint. That in itself is an opportunity. That's a stretch right there. That's a stretch. It's a stretch. You are not alone in not knowing the future. You're not alone in not seeing what the outcome of what your actions today will be. Anybody that's not following these old antiquated structures anymore and these ideas for our life anymore, we don't know. That's where faith comes in, but that's another conversation for another day. We have to give ourselves opportunities to grow. We have to force ourselves to stretch, right? How many of you know somebody that lifts weights, or is a person that lifts weights and enjoys the working out, right? But you don't like to stretch. But if you're serious about what you're doing, you know that you have to stretch. The only way to optimize all of that grunting and pushing and pulling of weights and lifting and whatever else y'all be doing, the only way for that to be as effective as it can be is if you stretch and you rest. Okay. Stretch and rest. This is the second thing that I'm not saying. I'm not saying that this is a constant battle, but I will say that this is a lifestyle. It's not a constant battle. There are times when we put the fucking weapons and shields down and we sit and we chill and we relax in it. And we give ourselves an opportunity to appreciate whatever growth we done already been through. But right now, I need a break. Take your breaks, rest, because it's a lifelong commitment. Nipsey said it's a marathon. It's a marathon, but you gotta rest. Okay? If you're lifting all them weights and you're not stretching, you're giving your body an opportunity to stretch. I'm talking to myself right now because this hurt. Give yourself an opportunity to stretch. It's not going to be as effective as it can be. Yes? Okay. If times have changed, we too must change. If times have changed, we too must change. And the ways that we are being asked to grow are in creativity. Okay? We have to be more creative about how we approach life, how we think about things, our perspectives. We need to open our minds. Yeah. We need to seek opportunities for the stretch. What's an example? You have a passion and you've been meaning to pursue this passion as a possible stream of income for you and your family. But you're nervous. You're like, I already have a good job. I have all of these things on my plate. And it's okay. I'm good for right now. I'll do it later. But what you may not be realizing is that pursuing that passion could be feeding your actual purpose. And if you are feeding your purpose, then everything else comes together. And that pursuing that passion might be the key to you getting out of that job. But you already knew that because that's why you had the idea in the first place. But your mind is fixed right now about how it can happen, your capacity to make it happen. Yes? Let's give yourself some room to stretch. Let's grow. Let's change that fixed mindset about this particular thing into one of growth. Persistence, effort. With my busy schedule of a full-time job, managing a household, right? How much time do I realistically have to put towards pursuing this business? Realistically, maybe like 4 hours in a whole week. Okay. So let's say every Tuesday and every Saturday, you put in 2 hours, whether it's learning how to build an LLC, whether it's researching products for your product, the supplies, for your product, researching techniques on how to best build your product, looking up marketing, figuring out budgets, whatever it is. You have 4 hours a week and you commit to Tuesday and Saturday, 2 hours each of those days, and you persist. After 4 weeks, how much are you able to do, right? And then after 5-6 weeks, you see, wow, I've really got like a good base for this. Maybe I can carve out a couple more hours each week, 1 more hour each week to do this. And then next thing you know, the ball is rolling and you've gone from planning into creation, into execution, into sales, and now your business is blown up. And it's because you opened your mind. You gave yourself the opportunity to stretch so that you could grow in a way that you intuitively knew and know that you're supposed to grow. It don't have to be difficult. It's also not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Give yourself the opportunity to stretch and see how far you will grow. Hold on, let me just make sure I said everything that I was supposed to say, okay? What are some questions that you can ask yourself to find your opportunities to stretch? What are some questions that you can ask yourself to find your opportunities to stretch? First of all, you gotta really open your mind and reconsider all that you know to be true. What? I'm not saying turn your whole entire life upside down and start doing everything differently. But what I am saying is that you should allow yourself to be open to things not being the way that you've always thought that they had to be. Allow yourself the opportunity to consider things being a different way than the way that you've always thought that they had to be. Right? Because our reality today shows us that things don't have to be even the way that they told us they were going to be. Things are not the same and they move in ways that we never imagined that they would move. Yes? So we have to give ourselves permission to view things from a different perspective, to be creative in the way that we think about how things have to go. Why does it have to be like that? Does it have to be like that? Like, think big. Like, big, like, stuff out the box, the world is infinite big, right? Like big, like galaxy big, like multiverse big. Okay. Another very important question on this journey of like authentic living, really, but like thriving more deeply, is like, how do I want my reality to evolve? This is my current reality. What is my ideal reality? What do I really want to see? What do I want to feel? What do I want to experience? Really get a grasp on the ways that you want to evolve, right? And when you understand that, like the areas, the avenues of your life that are looking for growth, right? Then when you have a good understanding of that, then the opportunities for you to stretch in order to grow will start to present themselves. Whether it's you making it happen, or like you just running into scenarios, environments, situations where you're being tested to grow in the ways that you said that you do want to evolve, right? So, like, open your mind. Open your mind to like literally the infinite possibilities of what life has to offer. Open your mind. Just even if it seems ridiculous to you, be ridiculous. What's wrong with being ridiculous for a little bit? Why not? Does it really have to be this way? And if this is my end result, what is the best case scenario for how I take a path to my end result? How do I get there? What do I want that to look like? What do I want my reality to look like in order to achieve these particular goals? Those are questions to start with. But give yourself the opportunity to stretch. Hello, I'm Dr. G, and I'm an unserious person. Nah, but for real. You have no idea what's possible. I have no idea what's possible. But, like, what I do know is that what's possible is far beyond, far beyond, far, far, far beyond what you think is possible. And when you open your mind up, when you allow your mindset to be one of growth, possibility, opportunity, you open up the reality that you can live in those spaces that we can't even see. I know. It's a little bit far out there, but that's what I'm here for, okay? That's it. I love y'all. I hope that you understand that when I say that, I really mean it. Like, I wish you the best. Leave me some comments in the bottom. What else do you want me to talk about? What are some questions? What was foolishness? What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? Share it with your friends if you felt like this was something. If it gave you something, even if you hated it, share it so your friends can hate on me but get my views up. Like, I love it. Like, unserious, very unserious. Yeah, hit the links that I put in the box. Yeah, thank you for listening. Fucking love this. Peace, y'all.